All right, so let's roll with this, and hopefully more people will jump on. If not, they can watch the recording. I just got to say this. I'm so tickled to death, not just because we're back from Summit and everybody's pumped up, but because my arm is like 99.99% back, and I cannot wait to go Friday because I think unless something really strange happens, I think he's going to clear me, which just makes me happy.
Wait for your doctor.
Yay. If you'd have put me in that brace 3 weeks ago, I probably would have already been cleared. So, all right. So here we go. We've got a lot to cover tonight. We're going to start off basically recapping real fast a couple of things that came on the Summit, and then we're going to talk about the Team Cup and Coach Basics and everything else and go over some things to take notes on. So if you got pen and paper, grab them. John Monroe helped me out here as we go through this recap of Summit. First of all, I want to thank everybody, like we said earlier, for everybody that went. And I want to thank everybody and congratulate everybody that's already registered for next year. I think you guys are going to be really glad you're going. Everybody that went there, and we can actually open it up because Lillian, Adrian, Ryan, and Carrie, if you guys want to unmute yourself, well, I'll just call your name. Let's go. I would love for you guys to share your takeaways from Summit. And let's start with Lillian, if that's all right. Here, let me unmute you. There, you got it.
One of the things that both Jesse and I walked away, I'll speak for myself because he's actually working out. Okay, so let me start with that because he's not here in this call and he can watch the recording. I'm so proud of him. But he is finally committed to the performance line. He's committed to Body Beast, and he's got a couple of people that I think are going to jump on board with him with that. So I'm pretty stoked. But that's our little personal takeaway. But the atmosphere in Nashville, there's no best positive words to put towards it. It is so amazing. You walk away with so much excitement, so much you just get pumped up for your business even more so. One of the things that I walked away from is really, really learning, same thing, needing to be a leader, because I love this. I love that I've been able to stop teaching in order to do this coaching thing and be able to stay home with my youngest. But I think for the past maybe 6 to 8 months, I've been treating it a lot like a hobby, and it's showing. It's showing in my PV, it's showing in other areas, and going to Summit, it switched something back on for me, and it's not a hobby for me. It's not. So I'm really stoked about where this is going. So for the team altogether is going. I'm excited about that.
Did you at all I kind of had a moment, well, not really, well, for us, because you made Elite, but you had said you didn't rank advance in your first business center and you did in your others, but it wasn't nothing big. But, as I'm watching those people walk across the stage and I'm watching those people rank advance, it's like I thought to myself, why can't that be us?
Right.
Why can't that be you guys? Why can't we be 10-star next year and walk, what I'm saying? It was kind of
well, for me, it was okay, last year, I said it, I wanted to be walking across that stage representing NC Fit Club. I really did. And every bit of advice that I always gave my challengers about you get in your own way, get out of your way when it comes to success, when it comes to your weight loss and everything. I had to literally sit there through all of those workshops and say, oh my gosh, Michelle, get out of your own way. I am getting in my own way of walking across that stage and representing the team, and it has to stop. And I just, it was huge. It was really, really huge.
I completely ditto everything you just said.
Absolutely.
I feel the exact same way. I couldn't say it better. Ryan, what were your takeaways? Being a first-time coach, first time at Summit.
All right, so it was my first time. A bunch of amazing people. I enjoyed meeting everybody in person. That was a real big thing. Getting to see the people that we associate with and work out to every day. Seeing all the successful people seeing how real it is for people to make money in business. Going through the workshops, going through the general sessions, and listening to, like, for instance, the National Geographic guy. Like, who would have thought, like, a guy who takes pictures would have such an amazing story. Then the workshops, seeing successful people, hearing Melanie Mitro speak, just different people who are millionaires of this business, and they're no better than we are. They just take the time, and they've been consistent.
What about you, Adrian? What were your takeaways from Summit?
I had a lot of takeaways, and I'm sure everybody else did. But I think the main thing I took away was how to share your story. Because I think it was the last day, the second session, when I forgot who was speaking, but she talked about how her and her kid, were in bed, and then she said her son said, "Is Daddy going to come home in a box?" Like Uncle somebody did. And we all have a story. I mean, it's just, you got to figure out how to explain it and how to tell it. So that's one of the takeaways I took. The other takeaway, well, there's a lot of takeaways. I mean, it was very informative. I'm glad I went. I mean, it was basically a leap of, I don't know, faith, or just a leap of figuring. I guess I knew I would have a lot from it. So I figured, you know what, let me just invest now. The ROI, return on investment, will come back, as long as I pursue this, which I don't see why I'm not going to. But it was just a very informative. I mean, I did a lot of note taking, and it was fun. It was real fun. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I've only been doing this like 2 months, but just listening, hearing different things go on and happen, like on these calls or on social media. I figured this might be something I might want to go to, because there'll be a lot of takeaways from it. And it didn't disappoint. I mean, it was far and beyond what I expected. I mean, it was cool. It was way cool to find out how big Beachbody is, just by renting out the different facilities. I mean, I knew they were big, but I didn't know how big they were. And then, like Ryan was saying, the Millionaires Club and all those people in the field. It was way cool watching the people walk across, which, I've never been to one, so I didn't know what that was all about. Well, I knew it was about recognition. And then, like I posted, I just had this like twist in my stomach, this knot, like, one day I'd like to be down there, because it seems like that's where it's happening.
Yeah.
So, and it was way cool meeting all the people that you see on these calls, in person.
It was, I just want to share this real fast, and I'm not going to go into specifics, but let me preface this by telling you this very quick story. When I was watching the size workout on Friday, I was standing off to the side with Darren and Danielle, and I'm watching Tanya and Anna and Sean dancing on stage at the size workout, and I looked at Darren. We were talking about how amazing Anna is and how awesome she is in size and everything else. And I was sitting there, and I looked at Darren, and we were sitting there just bragging on Anna. And I was like, man, I'm like, it's just amazing how the fact that because we knew Anna and we knew Sean, we introduced the two of them. And we were just talking about how I said to Darren, I said, everything happens for a reason. And I say that all the time. And as soon as I said that, without even hesitating, Darren looked at me and he said, yeah, but you got to know what the reason is. And I was like, it kind of took me back for a second. I was like, whoa. I was like, that's a pretty cool addition to that thought. And he was like, yeah, he's like, everybody always says that, but then they always forget to really examine what the reason is. So fast forward to later on that day, Alicia and I had the unbelievable pleasure of sitting down with Adrian for about an hour. And I'm not going to tell the story, but one day he's going to hopefully tell his story to you guys. And it is it is the most amazing story I have ever heard. Like, I got goosebumps sitting there talking to Adrian, and we almost didn't have that conversation. And that's another story in itself, but we sat down with him for probably close to an hour. And we figured out the reason, like when he said he came to Summit and he took that leap of faith to go to Summit, and we were like, and I said to him, I said, everything happens for a reason. And then I told him what Darren said, and I said, now you got to figure out what that reason is. And we knew, and we talked about it, and we figured out what his reason was for coming to Summit. And the why, which hopefully you'll learn one day, he'll share it with you guys, is one of the most powerful whys I've ever heard. It really is. I mean, I had literally during that conversation, I'd look at him and my hair was like standing up. I had major goosebumps. And I'm like, Adrian, like, look at this, dude. Like, do you see this? Do you see what you're doing to me right now? The conversation we had. And I cannot wait for the day to come to where he shares the story that he shared with me whenever he wants to, because it is unbelievable. Anyway. So, anyway, thanks for sharing that, Adrian. All right, I tell you what, just for time purposes, is there anything, and I'm talking to Lauren Rivera, Carrie, and John Monroe, is there anything that hasn't been said that you want to add about Summit, or if not, we'll move on? I don't want to keep you guys from saying anything, but I just want to make sure we got a lot to cover.
Really, basically and simply, it's just that it's something when you go, it's going to change your perspective of what and why you do the business. And on top of just seeing, all the people that you've never met. And you just get to have a lot of great personal development, little aha moments. I mean, this is our 4th Summit, and we've heard a lot of the stuff every single time. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I've heard 99% of that, and I just got the 1% I did not know. And that's what's the game changer right there.
You know what's interesting, too, that you mentioned that is because we heard Tara Carr speak at this summit, and we heard her speak at, two summits ago? At social media. And the difference even in her and her growth, you could totally tell, totally different person than 2 years ago.
I have so much more respect for Tara Carr than I had 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
When she was at Summit 2 years ago and she did a presentation on social media, this girl was decked out to the nines. She had the diamond-studded high heels and the tight dress, and she fit right in with 99% of the women that you see there. And those of you who were there know what I'm talking about. A lot of the women that are on other teams, let's be honest. Most of the coaches in Beachbody are women.
No, so it's more of the
it's more of the higher ranked women coaches and their teams. They all seem to dress to impress, and it's almost like who can wear the most expensive shit when they go. And Tara Carr,
and the highest heels.
Yeah, heels and all that crap. And Tara used to be one of those girls, and she was up on stage, and she's the one that Adrian was talking about. Her husband was in the Marines, and she got her husband out of the military, and she's the one whose kid said, "Is Daddy going to come home in a box?" And when they upload the trainings, you have got to go watch Tara Carr's training. You won't get through it with a dry eye. But she made a comment that she was like, I used to be one of those coaches that came to Summit and was like, okay, what outfit can I wear to show off how much money I make, and what can I do here, and how can I impress these people? And she was like, I'm not that person anymore. And I was like, oh my God, I just fell in love with you. And I was one of the people that didn't like her for the exact reason of what she was portraying 2 years before. And I sent her a Facebook message while we were in there listening to training, and I'm like, you were amazing. I so want to connect with her now that I know that she's a real person and she's not that superficial person that she portrayed 2 years ago. And it's amazing to me to see somebody like her who's been in this business for so long transform and get in touch with what matters and what doesn't.
Right.
And I love that about her, because I was beginning to lose hope that there were not that many people out there like that, because when a lot of these coaches start making money, you see them change, and you see them become more about how they can impress and show off rather than what she did, which was get up there, be raw, be vulnerable, share some amazing stories, and just unbelievable. She was amazing. One of my favorite, that one and Chris Reed were two of my favorite workshops that they had. So anyway, all right. So let's, anybody else that wants to share anything about Summit? If not, we'll move on. Carrie or Lauren, are y'all good? Megan, anybody? You good? And
I was going to say one thing, that next year, there is no way that I will miss the registration day because I really didn't like not being with my team. It was good that we had like 2 of us together, 3 of us total, but we wanted to be able to connect with the team. And at first we said, well, we could just exchange, it was the same topic, so we can exchange just in case we missed anything or it was delivered a different way. But at the same time, I just think just even for meeting up and things like that, I'd rather be with everybody, But I mean, I was stuck in a crappy situation, but.
Yeah, this year, the fact that the way they did the track system was nice because if everybody's on the same track, you're pretty much together. If you're on the same track, you can pretty much meet up and be with everybody because a lot of us were on the blue track, Grand Ballroom or whatever it was, and you didn't have to worry. You weren't splitting your time. Like in Summit's past, you're like, okay, I'll go to this one, you go to this one, I'll go. And then you're like, man, I wish I could have gone to that one. This time they just rotated the trainers through and you just sat in the room, which was amazing. Like this was probably the most organized summit I think I've seen in 6 or 7 years that we've ever done it. Quick recap on some of the announcements. The performance line or the Shakeology Boost and supplements came out today, correct, John? They came out today. The Beachbody Performance line supplements come out tomorrow. Some of the early kickback that I was hearing from coaches at the core was a lot of people were kind of bitching and moaning about the price of the performance supplements. And my only comment to that would be it's no different than when Shakeology first came out. When Shakeology came out, everybody, I was one of them that was like, there's no way people are going to spend $119 on a bag of Shakeology. Those performance line, I think the pre-workout and the post-workout are probably the 2 main ones that I would focus on. I don't know that the creatine is going to be a big seller, and I don't know that I would spend time on that Recover Shake vanilla nighttime thing, but that's totally up to you guys. The one thing,
That's just your opinion.
Just my opinion, just because we used them for a couple whatever. The Hydrate's pretty good, but John has his opinions and he knows a lot about that. The one thing I did like about this performance line is that they're going to have an on-demand challenge pack option with on-demand plus the pre and recovery workout. So the pre-workout and the recovery workout will take the place of Shakeology. And I think the price on that was $140. The thing I like about that is that how many times have you talked to somebody, they're like, oh, I don't want that Shakeology because I don't want to drink my meals or whatever. Then you can be like, all right, great. I got this on-demand challenge pack. It's going to get you a pre-workout and a post-workout, and we'll go that route instead. I like that option to have, and the fact that it's $140 so that we can pitch that to the people that maybe don't want Shakeology, but we can still sell them a challenge pack with the on-demand. So I would file that one away in your arsenal for when you come across that situation.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I came across that today, and one of the things that I pitched was not only for the pre and the post workout because they don't want Shakeology, but even to add on as a coach so they can get those pre and post workout on at the coach discount for the following month on HD. Because they take pre-workout, they take post-workout already, but I told them the makeup of this one and they like this one better. So I told them you don't have to you don't have to sell, but if you want the discount, and I think it's going to cover, does it cover the PV for them? I'm not sure. I haven't seen the FAQ on it.
I would think so, as much as it
John, have you seen an FAQ on it?
I haven't seen it, but the coach prices is 52 for the post and 37 for the pre.
Right.
So, I mean,
so it should cover, right?
That should, I mean, it's 89 technically, but I'm sure we'll find out tomorrow.
I'm
just thinking to keep them active.
Yeah, the fact that they're making it a challenge pack, I would almost guarantee it's going to be over 50 PV. And the sampler pack is out there too. So the sampler pack, they have a sampler pack for the performance line. That's a small box that has one of each one. So you can sell those just like the Shakeology sampler packs. So if you want somebody, like if you want to have somebody check that out, they can. The Beachbody Challenge or the Beachbody On Demand app is coming out this fall. And then they're also talking about how they're going to be extending the Chromecast. And what was the other one, John? Chromecast and
the Fire Stick. There was 4 of them.
It was Chromecast,
Roku's one of them.
Amazon Fire, and this one.
Chromecast, Roku, Fire Stick, or whatever it is, Amazon Fire.
Anyway.
There was 4. I don't remember the 4th one is.
Yeah. So
I think that 4th tab was the first one that just said web.
okay.
Oh, you're right.
It was web, and then it said Roku TV. I forgot, and then Chrome. Oh, Amazon Fire, and then Comcast or Chromecast.
So yeah, so those will all be coming, I guess, in the fall, hopefully, which will be here before you know it. And then obviously the big product announcement, and not just size, but was the hammer and the chisel, or the Masters, the hammer and the chisel, or the board and the nail, or the hammer and the head, or whatever you want to call it. I actually, no, don't shake your head, John. I'm not hating. I am not a Body Beast fan, but I'm actually interested in this because I like the fact that Autumn is bringing in a lean cut aspect of it,
Right.
and then you still have the bulk from Body Beast, but then you also have the option of doing a lean muscle, whatever. So, what are you shaking your head at, John?
Oh man, oh man.
What?
Your lingo, your verbiage, it's so wrong. It's
Then
like,
tell me. Then say it. You're the
all
body.
right,
Did I say it?
lean muscle. It's muscle is muscle. You can't make it leaner.
No,
You
I mean
just
the
have less
lean
body
look.
fat.
The lean look.
Body Beast does that already.
Huh?
I said Body Beast already does that.
All right, he didn't like Body Beast, but they did show a before and after picture. And what did Autumn say? Like the girl that they showed actually gained like 4 pounds or 3 pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
But looked amazing because it was lean muscle.
But she added muscle and decreased body fat.
Right. So, I mean, it will be interesting to see what happens when this program comes out.
John.
I'm interested in it. And they did say if you have on demand, didn't they say a
Yeah,
sneak
if you
peek
have
in
on demand, the
October?
sneak peek will be in October. John, there's the bulky look, and then there's the lean muscle look. There's the Sagi look, and then there's the Sean look. Sean's lean athletic muscle. Sagi is bulk, Incredible Hulk muscle. So that's the way I'll describe it. You can call it, I know it's not the right terminology, but I'm speaking everyday language to the people.
It hurts my head.
I know.
I want to add something to the performance line before you switched over.
Go ahead.
So I've actually taken all of them for the past 4 days now. Energize is really good, and as an alternative to my favorite that I will name nameless at said point in time, if you are doing any form of a cardio and you're not doing heavy weights, Energize is definitely the way to go. It's really good. And the benefit is it's based off of body weight. So if you are less than 150 pounds, you only need 1 scoop. If you're more, you can have 2 scoops. And it's based off 100 milligrams of caffeine each scoop. So that's really good. The post-workout is very, very good. Like, I will say, it's incredible. The hydrate, I mean, it's good. It's a fancy Gatorade, but I felt good. I'm moving in 100 degrees right now, and I've been using it all day to stay hydrated and not passed out. My energy has been up. The nighttime recovery shake, that's just pure casein. Now, again, we've talked about things are being so expensive and this and that. Here's what I'm going to tell you. It's certified NSF, which I don't remember the name of what it is, but it's basically the authorization that says what is allowable drugs for athletes and not. All these supplements are passed with that, and there's no extra additives in any of these supplements. So they are, for what people call generically clean, it is as clean as you can get, and it's legit that any athlete can take them. That is a high selling point, and it took them a lot of money to make it happen. So that's why you're going to be looking at these price lines, but that's also the value added into it. Now, to shit on it for a second, the creatine is creatine. If you're going to pay $30 for only 30 servings, you're stupid, because you can get like 90 servings for $15. That's my only gripe. But everything else,
So skip the creatine per John.
yeah.
Is it the same creatine that they had with the Body Beast supplements?
Yeah, it's creatine monohydrate, plain and simple. You can get it anywhere. There's no difference from any other brand if it's just pure creatine monohydrate. It's creatine.
I will tell you, as a female, I did creatine, and I will not do it again. I did not like it at all.
Is the creatine cheaper is the Body Beast creatine cheaper?
No, it's the same. It was like $30. They're both the same.
All right, cool. I'm glad you talked about the NSF thing because I
Yeah.
forgot about that. I didn't even think about the fact that they had the amount of money and research you had to put into making that NSF qualify or whatever. So that's a
Oh,
good selling point for the prices.
Are they still going to make the E&E or no?
I don't know about that. The only other thing I'll add into is just blanked on the guy's name. The guy at P3,
Yeah.
Doctor
The accent.
No, the guy that helped develop P90X3
He's
and
got
all
a kind of a cool.
X2, X3, Asylum. This guy works with about a third of all professional athletes in America, and this guy helped with the formulation with the performance line guy. So.
All right,
All right.
cool.
Somebody said heard yes, still E&E according to something. So thank you, Lauren.
One other thing real quick while we're talking about supplements, and then we're going to move on. The Shakeology Boost supplements, there's the greens, the digestive, and the
Focused energy.
focused energy. I will tell you, because of the fact that where we were staying was as soundproof as a paper bag, and there was a bachelorette party above us that at 2 or 3 in the morning decided they wanted to have a parade above our heads, and we never got more than 4 hours of sleep. The Shakeology, the boost of the focused energy was amazing. We took it before we drove home Sunday morning for 7 hours. We took it in the mornings that we got up with 3 hours of sleep. If you are a heavy coffee drinker or you have somebody that's addicted to caffeine and coffee, this is something I would definitely pitch them to try out.
To get off their coffee.
Even if they're not on Shakeology, they can mix it in with other things. So like they don't have to have Shakeology. They can either take it with orange juice or shoot it with whatever, dump it in their oatmeal, whatever they want to do. It's an amazing thing. The greens is good for when you are having issues where you feel like you haven't eaten enough vegetables, or if you have kids or your spouse is somebody that doesn't like green vegetables. They talked about how they were sneaking in a half a scoop or a third of a scoop, and then they finally built up to a full scoop with some of their kids. Isabel Deichler was talking about that. So the Power Greens is good for somebody that doesn't eat a lot of vegetables. And then lastly, the digestive health. We were actually staying next door to Bart and Courtney. Courtney has Crohn's disease. So when she's traveling and has a lot of sugar or different things or dairy or whatever, it really messes her stomach up. And so she used the digestive boost in her Shakeology, and it seemed to help her get back on track. Or if you've had a weekend of splurging and you've eaten a lot of pizza and cheese and sodium and sugars and beer and alcohol, Monday morning, the digestive boost is probably a good idea, at least for a couple of days to get your digestive system back on track. What they were basically explaining with the reason why they came out with these Shakeology Boost products was that when they came out with the original Shakeology, they couldn't throw everything at you at once because you would have been like, ooh, this is nasty, or ooh, I can't handle this. And they wanted to make it taste good. So now these Boost products are products that or ingredients that they actually wanted to have in Shakeology from the get-go. And if you, you'll notice it changes the taste a little bit.
I didn't notice the change in taste. I noticed a change in texture. It seems.
Yeah,
I've only used the focused energy.
Focus energy doesn't change the taste. The Power Greens, or the green, the whatever it's called, definitely changes. It takes away some of the sweetness of the Shakeology, like the chocolate is what I mixed it with. So you can taste the difference if you do a full scoop. If you ease yourself into it and do like a third to a half to 2/3 to whatever, I think you'll gradually get away. You'll get used to it. And then once if you were ever to drink it without it, you'll notice the Shakeology is way sweeter. So those are really good products to sell. Even if people aren't on Shakeology, it's still usable. We've already had some lady on our social media comment that she wants to try it just in her morning breakfast or whatever.
It'll be interesting to me. I feel like if they came out with sample packs of it, it would be a nice thing to be able to send to customers just to try. So hopefully that's down the road. Somebody said Ryan thought it was gross. Tried it. You tried them all, Ryan?
Ryan, you're the person I'm talking to when I say ease into it.
I could not tell a difference in the focus.
What I said was I tried the greens last night and I couldn't even tell they were there.
Oh, okay.
I thought you said it was gross.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
I mixed all 3 in together for the past 3 days.
How was that?
Wow.
Better than Shakeology by itself. I swear to God.
Yeah.
All I did was a scoop of chocolate, 12 ounces of water, and 1 scoop of each. I'm less bloated. I've had energy all day, and I feel good.
Yeah, I thought the focused energy one made the Shakeology a little creamier to me.
Yeah.
Like you didn't even know it was in there. It was good. So hopefully they come out with sample packs of that, because I feel like that would be something good to send to customers that are interested, that are already on Shakeology, that want to try it before they buy it. But just my thought. Hopefully they come out with that.
All right. So moving on to the next thing. Team Cup. The Team Cup registration runs through the 31st, I believe. Is that right, John? 31st?
Correct.
Make sure, like, if you're on my team, like, I don't care. You can be on other people's teams. Like, I want Gina McKinney on my team because I've never had a chance. I think I've had her on my team one time. You can only have one diamond per team, but I would definitely encourage you to come up with a team of 5 coaches, 1 diamond per team. Those of you that are going to be doing the coach basis group, I would say this is the necessity while you're in this coach basis groups to be on a Team Cup with somebody. I know Johnny Mancuso is filing for the first time ever, got an entire team of just his coaches, which I'm so proud of him.
Awesome.
I know I'm going to have a team. I can't have her on it because she's already a diamond, so we'll probably split up and we'll have 2 teams. So we'll build 2 teams and we'll run through the cup. John did an amazing energetic video for why you should join his team, and Tim Hunt. And she is like really throwing hair. Can you get?
Sorry.
There's a joke there, but I'm not going to go for it. So Team Cup, if you're serious about the business, I think it's something you need to absolutely do. Also, moving forward to the next topic, and the last one that we're going to talk about tonight, which I hope you'll take notes on from this point on, is the coach basics group. We started a week from Monday. We posted that video in the group yesterday that basically said you need to download that 7-day quick start guide, fill it out, and not only just send it to your coach. I want you to get on the phone with your coach. So like Gina McKinney, I know she's had a couple of people send her one. Lillian, all of you need to get on the phone and actually have a conversation about what they wrote. And if you send it to us, then we need to have a conversation before Monday on what you sent us as well. Because, once we start looking at them, and I know that people like Gina and some of you coaches that are still new to this may feel intimidated about talking to your coaches about what they sent you. But this is an opportunity for you to learn a lesson that took me too long to learn, which I'm now having to fix. And that is being open and honest and candid with your team and your coaches. If they're coming to you and saying, hey, I want to do this, then you've got to treat this with the responsibility that it deserves, just like we're getting ready to start doing, by challenging you, pushing you, holding you accountable, and being candid with you when you're not doing the things that you say you're going to do on that sheet, because I want to see you succeed. It's no different than a coach of a football team working and having the players practice every day. They might be really close and good friends, but when it comes to the game of football, the coach is there to help correct the mistakes they're making, push them, challenge them, get on them when they need it, and congratulate them when they deserve it. And that's what I want this thing to be, because I want you, if you guys are serious about walking across that stage as Star Diamonds or Premier or Elite or Success Club All-Stars or whatever it is your goals are going to be on that piece of paper that you're filling out, whatever your financial goal is, in order for that financial goal to happen, everything I just said has to happen. It will not happen if we or your sponsor do not hold you accountable and challenge you and push you and treat this like a business. So that was our biggest takeaway coming out of Summit. And for the coaches that were there, we had this big meeting at the Spaghetti Warehouse or whatever that place is called. Spaghetti Factory. Shut up, John. The Spaghetti Factory. We were there, and I was there. Lauren Belcher was there. We stood up, and we all I had Alicia. I put Alicia up front and told her to speak, and then I basically told the whole room, I'm like, look, this was probably the worst summit for me, and it was also the best summit for me. It was the worst summit for me because for the first time ever, I went to Summit and I hadn't ranked advanced since the year before. It was the best summit ever because I had one of the biggest aha moments leaving it, which is this conversation that we're having right now, the coach basis group, and the whole thing that Lillian was saying. Lillian nailed it when she talked about what she said she took away from it. She and I are on the same page with this. It was nice to reconnect with Lauren Belcher, who is an up-and-coming leader. She's got her own fire team going on. They're on fire. I want to see the same thing happen for you guys. And the whole reason why we're doing this coach basis group and the reason why we're using the one from the back office is because it's duplicatable. Everybody knows where it is. Everybody knows how to do it. It's spelled out for you. You can't mess it up. In years past, and I'm just being honest, in years past, we've always kind of done whatever Dave and Monica did with the Fit Club Network. And there's nothing wrong with what Dave and Monica do, but Dave likes to take things and recreate it and make it his own and then push it out. And the stuff is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing what Dave's done. But I realize that when I'm watching these coaches on these stages that are doing these workshops and I'm watching and I'm talking to these people, a lot of people started to do that. And everything that I saw this weekend, everybody was using the back office. And I was like, there's no reason to recreate this. If we want this to be duplicatable, it needs to be somewhere where everybody can find it. And if you're not on the FCN coach training page or FCN coach group or whatever, and you don't know where to find it, then you're going to be like, I don't know what that is. Well, if we do it this way, there's no excuse. The 7-Day Start Guide is in the back office. Coach Basics is in the back office. Everything that we're going to do for the next 60 days is in the back office. So there's no reason why you can't turn around and do this with your coaches and you can't mess it up. You may feel like you're going to mess it up, but you won't.
Yeah, guys, when we started the team calls back up, 6 weeks ago now, 7 weeks ago? Or no, 2 months ago. Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's what we started doing. We went back into the Coach Basics, the coach training groups. Not groups. What am I trying to say? The coach training in the back online office. And that's what we were going off for, training and talking about with everything. It's all there, and they've done an incredible job with where they're at now. I mean, just solid. You can't screw it up if you go through it.
So this is some of the thing. I'm going to go over some of the notes that basically we took from the turning this business from a hobby into a business, because that was one of the biggest takeaways for us, is helping you guys actually treat this thing like a business. So if you guys want to take notes, and this is also going to tie into that 7-day quick start that you're filling out, and it's going to tie in the 60-day. These things are what they call the no matter whats, which means these things are the things that you have to do every day, every week, every month, no matter what. That's why they're called the no matter whats. So if you want to write these down, I'll try to go slow. First one is invite and connect and basically do the vital behaviors. Inviting and connecting, the 3 vital behaviors: invite, share, and all that. You know what they are. Do the 3 vital behaviors every single day. The next one, be a product of the product. Work out and drink your Shakeology. That's one. Yeah, that was the other vital behavior I couldn't remember, but I do it. So don't even go there. So, this is a big stickler for me, for anybody that's going to be in our Coach Basis group. I got people that are wanting to be in a Coach Basis group that haven't been active in a month. If you're going to be in the Coach Basis group, you need to be active. That means you need to be on Shakeology. If your account is inactive right now, that tells me you're not drinking Shakeology, or you're backed up and you got 3 bags on the counter. And let me just go ahead and address this, because it drives me crazy when I hear coaches go, well, yeah, so-and-so said that they're backed up. They got 3 bags on their counter. Well, they haven't been drinking it every day. I mean, there's days that I might miss or whatever, but I mean, I don't ever have more than 1 bag sitting in the pantry ready to go. So you need to be drinking that stuff every day. If it's a money issue, then this Coach Basis group is going to help you make more money, and we're going to take care of that problem. So if it's a money issue, then talk to me privately. Say, hey, Todd, I would love to be active right now. I just have some money issues, and let me know, so that moving forward, I can make sure that we help you make money so that you can get active again, or at least be selling something that's 50 PV or higher to get you active. The next one is personal development. With this Coach Basis group, we're really going to be pushing some of the Jim Rohn stuff, the John Maxwell stuff, the stuff that's on the success tab that's in the back office that you have access to. All that stuff is going to get tied in. Personal development for me is something that I kind of dip in. I kind of have peaks and valleys where I'll do it for a while, and then I'll fall off, and then I'll do it for a while, and then I'll fall off.
And John and I actually had a conversation about this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can tell when I'm not doing it. And when you're not doing it, it's easy to get into these funks. And it's easy to be like, oh, I'm thinking about quitting and all that kind of stuff.
I'm thinking about quitting.
No, I thought about it Saturday when I saw John and was hanging out with him. But then I was like, I can deal with him. I'm kidding, John.
Seriously, though, guys, personal development. I mean, I don't know. To me, it's almost like it's got to be the number one thing to do, because drinking Shakeology, working out, that's easy. I don't have to think about that. But for me, personal development, if I'm not doing it, I can tell, and then you will see the monetary difference in your business when you are reading and when you are not reading, or if you're listening to that audio, taking notes. If you are not doing that, you will see a decline or a stagnation in your monetary compensation, plain and simple.
Can I say something else?
Sure.
Without personal development, you also allow for all the negativity that happens on the outside on a daily basis to really bring you down. And it'll affect your business, it'll affect your family, it'll affect everything all around. That personal development really allows for you to create this thick skin, because in this business, you need a thick skin, because you're going to have people that laugh or tell you you're crazy because you dream big. And you can just kind of shrug that off when you're built up in your personal development.
I heard one of the best comebacks I've never heard anybody say it this way, but when they were talking about people giving you a hard time and having thick skin. One of the girls that was on stage, I can't remember her name, she was like, oh, what do you do when those people come up to you and say, oh, that's an MLM, that's a pyramid scheme? And she said, I look at them and I'm like, well, last time I checked, my checks don't bounce. The checks they write me don't bounce. They go into my bank every single week, and I'm continuing to make money. And I was like, oh my God, I love that comeback. I mean, it's not something that I deal with, but if next time I hear somebody say that, I'm like, checks don't bounce. What you got to say about that? The money's in my account. It's in there every week. I don't have any problems with them bouncing checks. Next thing, 2 to 3 quality posts on social media. I would say at least 1 post per day. You can do 2 to 3 posts per day if you wanted to, but quality posts on social media. And I know that opens up a whole can of worms of what explain that. What is that?
It's all in the back.
It's all in the back office, but we're going to talk about that in the Coach Basis group. The next one, run challenge groups. If you're not running challenge groups, then you're not selling things, and you're not helping people, and you're not finding potential coaches, and you're not making money, and you're not making Success Club. Challenge groups are a must.
Can I add to that?
Please do.
Okay, because we had this conversation. And obviously size is out, and we're going to be starting some size challenge groups, and we're going to be starting our size challenge group also. And, we don't mind adding you to our size challenge group and you adding your people to our size challenge group. That's not a problem. A lot of you already run your own challenge groups, and I think that's great. If you're a new coach and you just need some guidance or need some help, we don't mind. We're here for you. But if you're going to be in it, we expect you to follow up with your customers that are in it. You need to be posting in there too. You need to be commenting on people's posts. You need to be liking their posts. Don't just throw them in a challenge group and walk away and think, oh, okay, they've got this. Todd and Alicia have this. And a lot of you already are running your own. And I highly encourage you to run your own. One of the people we listened to talked about, if you have one person even in your challenge group, you're responsible for that one person. Whether you've got 1 or 10, you could make a difference in one person's life by just giving them the attention.
The way she put it was, if you've got one, like this lady, and it was perfect the way she said it. She was like, if you're a coach that only sells one size program, and you just put that one put that one person into a challenge group by themselves, or you put it into a group with other people, and then you never follow up with them because you're like, it's just that one person. Well, if you're going to you should treat one person the way you would treat 10 people. You need to show up for every single person, whether it's 1 or 10. Okay? Never, ever underestimate the power of that one person, because that one person can end up being a coach on your team, could be an elite coach, a 5-star diamond coach. They might have so much potential in them just waiting on you to tap into it, and you would never know. Next thing, know your story and tell your story. And this is one of the things that we're going to talk about in the Coach Basis group. It was one of the things we talked about with Adrian. And they talked about how, and we'll get into this during the Coach Basis group, about learning how to drop breadcrumbs. Like if you've got a really involved, amazing long story, which Adrian has, you don't want to just come out and explode on somebody with your entire story if it's not appropriate. So you want to learn how to tell your story quickly, or drop bits and pieces of your story, or have different stories to tell. It might be parts of your story. It might be something from Adrian's story, or my story, or Joe Blow's story, or Jane Doe's story, or whoever. But learn how to tell your story, tell other stories, and those are some of the things that we're going to talk about in the Coach Basis group. Next one is one-on-one and team calls. Like, I'm glad to see more people on these team calls. I pay a lot of money for Zoom to be able to host up to 100 people, and we barely get over 15. And like, there's no excuse for that. So if you're watching the recording of this later or whatever, you should be listening to the National Wake Up Call. You should be on these Zoom calls that we do on Tuesday nights. And if you can't make it, that's fine. But if you're watching the recordings, then you need to be posting comments in the thread of what you took away from the recording so that everybody knows you're there and that you're showing up. If you just listen to them and just don't say anything, I don't know if you're watching them. Nobody else knows if you're watching them. And then we just assume you're not doing anything. And we're like, oh, they're not plugged in. So being on the team calls and being on the National Wake Up Call. Hitting Success Club is an absolute must. At least hitting Success Club 5 every single month. That's the next one. Hitting Success Club every single month. Set a time or set your times and review your calendar. That's the next one. That's one of the things that we're going to do in the Coach Basis group is working on your time management. We've talked about this in the past, but this is probably going to be the area that we have to be the most candid with people, and this is probably going to be the area that most of you will struggle with the most. We struggle with it, but we do at least a good enough job to be successful. We're going to push ourselves to do an even better job, and in doing so, we're going to hold you accountable and everything else. Next one is track your business and tracking your goals. When you fill out that 7-day quick start guide, you're writing down your goals. You're also writing down your obstacles of what you think is going to get in your way so that you know going into this, the things that you need to work on. So having those goals and tracking your success and all that stuff with the business activity tracker is going to help us look at where you are each month. Because we're going to be setting monthly goals in this Coach Basis group of like 15, let's say the first month our goal is for you to make $500. And then the second month we're going to be like, okay, we've learned how to make $500. Now let's go for $1,200 or let's go for $1,000 or $1,500. Then month 3, we might shoot for $2,000. And like, you might be listening to this going, oh my God, that scares the hell out of me. How am I going to make $2,000 in a month if you're barely making 30? Well, it's because you're not doing the things that you should be doing. And that's what we're going to teach you. And if you do these things will happen. So that'll be part of the goal setting. The other stuff is duplication. Your attitude is something that can't be taught. It's something you've got to deal with. And I heard a quote last night that I loved. A negative mind does not create a successful life. And I would write that down. A negative mind does not create a successful life. It ties back into the personal development that John was talking about. And to give you an example, there was this lady that showed up at Fit Club last night. She walked into the room. And she was one of these people that walked in, and it was like if you were within 5 feet of her, it was like you could see this black cloud just orbiting around her. And we were doing size crazy 8s, and we're introducing these people to it. And there's a lot of new people, and I'm walking around, I'm fist bumping and high fiving people and this and that, and everybody's smiling like, "How you doing?" Blah blah blah. And I get to her, and I was like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" And she's like, and like she just kind of mumbles. Well, by the second or third time I come around to her, I'm like, man, this girl's really going to be a tough nut to crack. And I get to her that third time, and I'm like, I looked at her and I said, I'm going to make you smile before you leave this room. And then she kind of cracked a smile. And I'm like, see, there we go. And then we moved on. And even when I talked to her afterwards, she was just a miserable person. And there are some people that are just going to be that way. You don't need to be one of them. And you need to understand that whatever your mindset is going into this, if you go into this 60-day boot camp or Coach Basis group, you've got to go into it with thick skin. Don't take things personal. Be ready to learn. Be ready to grow. How many of you, by show of hands, because I can see all of you, how many by chance happen to watch the show So You Think You Can Dance? Does anybody watch that? A lot of people? Are y'all watching it this season? Yeah, put your hand up if you're watching it this season. Anybody?
I never watch TV, and I love that show.
Okay. If you don't watch it, that's fine. But if you do, watch it's street versus team. There's a guy on the street team, and it's the Hispanic guy or whatever. The guy, I can't remember his damn name. But if you watched it from this past Monday night, he's got a horrible attitude towards learning choreography. Like he goes into it and he's constantly giving the choreographers a hard time because he just doesn't want to learn it. And they keep telling him, they're like, look, if you don't stop getting in your own way, opening yourself up to being teachable, you're not going to get this. And that's actually, if I'm being honest, that's where I got the quote, because Simon, the guy on the show last night, looked at him and told him, a negative mind does not create a successful life. And if you don't stop being negative about learning these choreographies, your goal of wanting to be a successful dancer is going to go out the window. You will get voted off. So as much as I love you guys, I can't vote you off this team if you don't do what you don't want to do. But you can vote yourself right out of your why. The why that you're writing down on that 7-day quick start guide, you will not do it if you don't have an open mind and you don't do the personal development and you go into it with a negative attitude. So just remember that. And take responsibility. Plug into the existing tools in the back office. There's the invite scripts. There's the welcome scripts. There's the challenge group guides. There's the get started training, which is what we're doing with this 7-day quick start guide. And these are all things, like we said at the beginning, that you can duplicate with your coaches. Let's see, what else did I write down?
And then just so you guys know, all of these, I'm in the online office right now. It's all under news and training, and then they're all selected under Coach, Emerald, Ruby, Diamond, 1-star. They're all there in different steps under each category. So go just in order as you're doing it.
And this is the last thing that I'm going to write that you can write down, and we'll wrap this up. This is your action. These are your action steps going into this next 60 days. There's 4 of them that I want you to write down. These are your action steps for your 60-day coach basics. This is your action steps for how you treat your business, how you treat your challenge groups, how you treat everything. Number 1, deliver on your promises. If whatever you put on that 7-day quick start guide, I want you to deliver on it. If you tell me that your why is to make $500 a month so you can pay off credit card debt, at the end of these 3 months, we damn well better see some credit card debt at least getting smaller. Because otherwise, we've wasted our time. And I don't see any reason why none of you are not going to achieve whatever you wrote down. But I want you to treat this seriously and deliver on your promises. If you put somebody into a challenge group and you say, if you're forming somebody for size or max 30 or whatever, and this person says they want to lose 30 pounds and you've talked to them and you're like, we're going to get you there, deliver on that. Show up for them. Do not let them down. If you show up for them, I promise you, showing up for your customers is one of the best ways to find some of the most amazing coaches. Most of the people on this call right now were former customers. I was a customer. I was a customer lead for Monica. I bought off the internet. You know that story. I won't do it.
Plus, you're more likely to get referrals too.
Yes. Start on time. So like if you say if you're going to be on this call at 9:00, be on this call at 9:00. If you're going to start your challenge group on Monday, start your challenge group on Monday. If you say you're going to call your customer or your coach or whoever, make sure you're there when they call you or when you set up that call. Next one, number 3, do for one what you would do for a tribe. That's basically the example we gave about that one customer. Do for one person what you would do for 10. If you don't learn how to treat that one person like that 10, you're never going to get the tribe. And I love the way she put that. She was like, you'll never be rewarded with the tribe if you don't know how to take care of that one person. That goes for your coaches and your customers. And the last one is a strong work ethic. Make sure that you go into this with a strong work ethic. You've got to treat this like a business. The hardest part about that last comment or that last to-do thing with your work ethic is this inner belief that you're struggling with right now. A lot of you who are new coaches, Adrian and I talked about this on Saturday, is that a lot of you have a hard time really believing that you can match what you make at your jobs with this business. The only thing I can tell you, and this is the last, we're going to wrap up the call with this. The only thing I can tell you is that if you trust and believe in what we say and what we tell you to do, we are living proof that you can match your income. Anything is possible. There is nothing that differentiates you from us. The only difference is whether or not you're going to do the things that it takes to build this business into what we've been able to build it in and into what we are going to build it into. Like I told Adrian, I have a goal of getting him 5-star by next summit. In doing so, he and I are going on a journey together. We're all going on a journey together. as we and John and these other leaders teach you how to grow this business, we too are going to be learning and growing with you. Because if I teach Adrian how to get to 5-star, but by the time he gets there, if I'm still sitting at 5-star, then I can't show him anything else because I haven't done it. You have to be able to have done it to teach it. So by the time we get to Summit next year, I want to be 10-star, 12-star, whatever we end up being. So that when he gets to 5-star, I'm going to be like, all right, there's the path to 10. Keep following me. Here we go. If you want to get to 6 figures, keep following me. Here we go. If you want to get to elite, keep following me. Here we go. Millionaire Club, which we want to hit one day, keep following us. Here you go. It's like, imagine like this big field of grass that's 10 feet high. And we're in front of you with machetes just chopping that shit down, trying to clear a path. And all you got to do is just keep following. Or keep following Belcher. Or keep following Mancuso.
If you want to pass us at any point,
if you want to run up to us and be like, screw you, Todd, you're not going fast enough, and frog jump me, and you start grabbing the machete, I'll follow you. I have no problem with that. As long as one of us is chopping down the shit and making a path, let's just go. So you just have to, in this belief that I'm talking about, that belief that allows you to understand, it comes with time, it comes with success, and it comes with just trusting and having faith. It's like, for those of you that are religious and have faith in the afterlife or have faith in God or whatever you believe in, you're believing in something that you can't tangibly touch or understand or actually see. It's no different. And this is a dramatic analogy, but it's also very true. When I tell you that you can be a 5-star diamond, 6-star diamond, whatever, and you can make a 6-figure salary, I can't give you anything that's tangible. I can't show that to you except for what we've done. So you have to have faith in what you cannot see and cannot touch, and just trust and believe that it's going to happen if you do these things. And that's a leap of faith that you have to take. And I know that's scary. And I know that there's a lot of things about that are going to be struggles for you, but that's what's going to make you into what you need to be successful. So I promise you, if you do this, you will get way further than you ever thought you could. And if you don't hit your goals, like I told Adrian, this is the last thing I'm going to say. If you're shooting for 5-star, or let's even back it up, because you should always be shooting for something heavier than what you're going for. If you're shooting for 5-star, I want you thinking 10. Please understand that. If you're shooting for 5-star, you cannot be focusing on 5-star. You've got to be focusing on 10. I promise you, if you focus on 5, you will not hit it. Because you always need to be looking past a bigger, scarier goal to get to what you actually want to do. The finish line always has to be a step further than what you think you can do. Because if you shoot for 10 and you end up with 5 or 6, it's like what a friend of mine used to say, if you shoot for the moon and hit the stars, you're still being successful. You still have you're still making more money. You still have a bigger business than you had when you started, and you've grown. And you just keep moving that finish line further and further away. That's what he told me when I was shooting for 2-star. I used to focus on nothing but 2-star, and I kept getting just close enough, and then I would fall back. And every time I thought I was going to get there, it kept getting moved away and moved away and moved away. And guy's name was Larry. He said, man, start focusing on 5 and you'll hit 2. As soon as I started looking at 5-star, 2 happened like that. As soon as I started looking at 10, 6 and 7 started happening like that. Second business center goes diamond. Second business center went 2-star. Second, things start happening, and you start getting multiple business centers, and then you're like, I don't even know what I was worried about, because you got all this other stuff happening. So just do that and you'll be good. Anybody got any questions or comments? John, anything?
No, that was good, man. I approved this message.
All right, good. Look, to show you let me show you this. This is all the stuff that we've printed out for the Coach Basis group. Like, we are attacking this thing at 200 miles an hour.
And I've printed the people who sent me this.
Yeah, we've already printed out. We're going to have copies of everybody's forms. If you're not one of our coaches, your PS sponsor should be sending it to us. Like Star, I know Lauren's kind of doing something, but if you're going to be in it, for example, make sure you send it to us so we've got a copy of it. I'm just using her as an example.
And if she's going to be in Lauren's, that's great.
Yeah, if you're going to be in Lauren's, that's fine. I'm not sure if Lauren's calling it a Coach Basis group or what she's doing, but I know she's doing something. So that's it. If you guys don't have any questions, then we'll
Super Saturday
Super Saturday. Got to make sure you go to a Super Saturday
or Super Sunday.
or Super Sunday. If you're in the Charlotte area, and hopefully you're going to go to High Point to see us.
There's one in Charlotte on Sunday.
If not, there's one in Charlotte on Sunday. Go in the back office. You can find where the Super Saturdays are. Make the commitment to go to a Super Saturday. This is one of the things we're talking about. Showing up, doing the things you don't necessarily want to do. You know, sometimes it's a pain in the ass on a Saturday to go to a Super Saturday. Make the sacrifices. Do those things. I promise you, it's like personal development. Stay plugged in. All right?
Or step up and host your own.
Or step up and host your own.
Yep.
Exactly. Absolutely. All right, guys. I'm excited about this Coach Basis group. I can't wait till Monday. I can't wait to talk to some of you this week, like Gina and Carrie and Adrian and Chad and Ryan and whoever else. I can't think of her. Gina, everybody. So, all right, guys, if you need anything, reach out to us, and we will talk to you guys later. Peace out.